Alright, I'm just gonna make a vid on making wicking beds. So they're like if you want to grow veggies and that, and they use 50% less water. And I was watching videos and there's a lot of vids that kind of like, one, don't tell you everything, and then two, there's some things that are on there that you can actually do it for cheaper and more effectively. So I'm just going to show you how I did it, and I think it's just a little bit better and cheaper as well. Okay, so these are IBC tanks, and you cut them in half, and then I've used some 50mm PVC. So you just chuck a bend on it, drill some holes in the sides, and then I actually couldn't find any caps for this. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a can, putting a can over it. So when you fill this up with water, the water's going to disperse throughout here. Okay, so after you've put the PVC in, you've got to put a reservoir outlet. Now, this is how they usually do it. They do a 100mm reservoir with a 30mm bed, because you need at least 30mm for the plants, right? But after doing more research, they said it's actually better to have a 250mm reservoir and 30mm bed. So these ones at the back, you can see they're a little bit higher. I mean, these are fine. There's nothing wrong with them, because 95% of people use these ones. But at the back here, this one's going to be 250mm reservoir, so obviously you don't have to fill it as much. It's just, yeah, so it's literally going to be 2.5 times more water in a reservoir. I mean, both are really just as good, but yeah, I'm just going to see the difference, so I've done both. So this one's drilled at 100. This one's going to be drilled at 250 using a 20mm drill bit. And that also enables, like a lot of the videos that were showing, they were drilling these big holes and then slipping this either just a piece of pipe through, but what was loose, and then they had to like silicone it, which I think is just shit, because eventually that's going to start leaking. Or they were using these. Now these are actually $18, as opposed to getting these two, goes from 1 inch to 1/2 inch, and then that screws on here, and then you get 2 washers. That's $6. Now, $18 to $6 may not seem like a lot, but when you're getting like 10 of these, as opposed to 10 of these, you got $180 to $60. So you got an extra $120 to get some piss and have a good time. All right, I've just drilled the hole, and now I'm gonna. The good thing is, this actually, with a 20mm drill bit, you can actually screw that in. So it's actually nice and tight anyway. Whereas on the other video, they were drilling holes that were too big and it weren't tight, hence why you had to put silicone around it. And I've actually got a washer on this, on the other side, and I'll put a washer in the front, and I'll screw the other piece in, and that'll be watertight. All right, as you can see, that's screwed in with the washer. And then the other side, chuck another washer in, and then screw this baby on. Yep. And that's going to be watertight. That's not going to require any silicone. It's always going to be good. You won't have to worry about losing any water, all right? And then you can also, on some vids, they had a piece that come out and then went up, and then you can just turn it if you want to drain it. So you can do that. You have the option of doing that, or you don't have to, but at least you've got the option to do that. Okay, so after we've put the valve on, put PVC on and drilled the holes, we put in some blue metal, and then I'm going to cover it with the that's just shade cloth. All right, once you've got the shade cloth in, then you're going to put in the soil, and you want the bed of soil to be about 30 centimeters, because the majority of veg, the root systems stay approximately around 30 centimeters, so you want it at least that. So this is the veg soil in here, and then there's your wicking beds. You just pop in your veg, put your water in here, fill it up to where the blue metal was, and for that you're going to have to water it from the top until the roots get established. But then you just leave them and then fill these up every week, 2 weeks, and they're growing. And it saves about 50% water, so it's a really good option, especially when you can get IBC tanks cheap. So yeah, it's really good. Okay, so now I've done those wicking beds. I've got 2 more here and 1 over here, and then we've got aquaponics here. And we've got 3 beds here, so just in case you don't know what aquaponics is, fill this with water, fish goes in here, the water pumps out into each bed, so it's constantly going, and the fish shit actually feeds the plants. And then these are valves that go release the water, so it gets up to a certain point, water gets released, goes into this reservoir, then this, put a pump on the end of that, pumps it back up into where the fish are. So this filters the fish shit, uses it for the plants, and then fresh water goes back in there for the fish. You can actually fit around, you can actually fit 54 fish in here, because you got to work out the volume of filtration. The volume of filtration is, this is like a 1.2 meters by 1 meter by 30. So what you do is you go 1.2 times 1 times 0.3, and that will give you, what was it, 0.36 times 3, that gives you 1,080 litres of filtration. So this is 1,000 litres. So this is basically a perfect setup for this size. And then you can fit every 500 litres, you can fit in 25 fish. So that's 500 litres of filtration. So because this is 1,080, you can fit 54 fish in here. And then what we do, I'm going to go buy a 5,000 litre tank, put it outside, so when the fish get to a certain size and they breed, you take them out and you put them in the 5,000 litre tank, and then we keep on getting them bigger, and then they actually be used as a food source. So this not only grows veggies, but it gives us the fish as a food source. So the objective is to be eat fruit, veg and fish, and just eliminate all types of meat. And I'm doing that purely because I'm starting to think, you know, you see all this shit on how they treat animals. It's just awful. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm just focusing on fruit, veg and fish.